Don't talk, Paul, whatever you do.
Yeah.
Greetings and good... Oh, Paul, now. I was in the middle of my greetings.
Oh, no,
Greetings and a warm welcome. This is the 10 o'clock news from the chaotic EV Café, brought to you this week by EV Civil Solutions, because we're digging their work towards net zero civil engineering. And I'm still John Curtis. Today I'm joined by the wonderful, which one will it be? Sarah Sloman and Paul. So grab a cuppa and plug in for the latest in clean transport and sustainability news. And today we'll be talking about the Secretary of State for Transport, Jessie Norman, endorsing the EV Café as a champion of communication and education. Get in there. The Net Zero Council, something I've called Truck This and Truck That, and an electric bus fit for a king. Now then, we've been at the ITT Hub in Farnborough this week, so a lot of the stories relate to the ITT Hub and all the great things and people we've seen. Paul, good show for you?
Yeah, do you know what? The joy of being at the ITT Hub in the role that we play is that we get to talk to everybody that's there. And we spoke to some amazing businesses over the couple of days, some great visitors. It was great to see some fleet managers of some of the largest fleets in the UK there present and looking across all the good stuff that was on display. So I think, you know, from a personal perspective, it was a really good show.
And Sarah, what about you?
Yeah, I appreciate the ITT Hub for its contrast to the other shows that we go to. There's sort of a sense of calm about it that you can really have a proper conversation rather than, apologies to everyone that I do this to, which is like, I've just got to go, I gotta, you know, it's terrible. So this time I feel like I actually had, you know, a handful of conversations that I would have waited 6 months to get a time for.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was good.
Now, one of those conversations was with the Secretary of State for Transport, Jessie Norman, who gave the EV Café a little bit of a plug in his keynote speech. Joe, run VT.
And I would say communications as well, because people need, one of the key themes, I've just been at the little cafe that we've got here, the EV Café, talking about the importance of education, getting people to understand what we're trying to do and how they can benefit from it in their own lives and in their own businesses. So that's fantastic.
Boom. You might be seeing that video a few times before we die.
Yeah, you will. I had to trace the poor man around the whole entire show. Be like, come and see us over here. We've got cotton. He thought I was going to give him a coffee, but I had to disappoint him very quickly about that.
Oh dear, and talking of disappointment, Paul, you got a good you got a good chat with him as well. The two of you kind of double teamed him.
Yes, indeed. And you know what? Saz, as always, massively articulate questions, particularly holding him to account, really, on that continued delivery around charging infrastructure through the local authorities. And of course, I had to mention the beloved van.
We'll be hearing more about big stuff later. Speaking of big stuff, Gary Comerford, good morning, my dear chap. Esther Jones, love you to pieces. Michael Barton, hope the job's going well. David Bushnell, good morning. Neil Ponting. Now then, Neil Ponting does some really interesting things with cables and pavements and stuff. We'll talk to you another day, my friend. Leah, who was at the ITT Hub with us from Grand Transport. She is amazing. Thank you for joining us this morning. Rob Dustin. Paul Kirby, who's he? Anyway, let's move on. The inaugural meeting of the government's Net Zero Council has taken place with leaders from banks, energy companies, technology and finance firms coming together with politicians. Oh no, that's an awful sentence. Coming together with politicians, that's just nasty. Co-chaired by Energy Minister Graham Stewart, the Co-op Group Chief Executive Shireen Curry-Hack, the council aims to support industry to cut emissions and develop greener practices. It also aims to deliver on the government's priority to find ways for British businesses to take advantage of renewable technologies on the path to net zero and to export those globally. Key objectives for the council include working to ensure sectors and companies have a clear pathway to net zero, including looking at the barriers and connections across the sectors, leading a systematic review of the financing challenges and the respective roles of government, industry and the financial sector in addressing them, and identifying key challenges facing SMEs in reducing their carbon footprints and supporting their transition with information and advice Well, we like that. We like to be part of the Government Advice Channel. Yay. As endorsed by Jessie Norman, Secretary of State for Transport. Siemens, SSE, HSBC, NatWest and Lloyds of London were among the firms on the council, and they'll all be working towards this net zero thingy that we all love so much. What is really key here is that finance is critical to making the changes that business needs. So good vision, that's fabulous. We've got the net zero targets, great. We've got tax breaks for capital investment for infrastructure, which is brilliant. And that's why we work with McIntyre Hudson as our green finance and investment partner to make every pound that you spend on sustainability go as far as it can. It's really key, isn't it, Sarah, that we have the right structures in place in government and local authorities, and we know what targets we're aiming for, we have incentives, and that businesses make the transition in the most cost-effective way possible.
Yeah, SMEs are going to be really looking at the bottom line more than anybody else, and slightly different, but through Eden 7, who the EV Café knows and loves, Paythrough has just gone through its initial ESG sort of accounting phase. So we've got the baseline now. So next year will be easier to do, but it has required resource internally in terms of time, but also it's going to require investment as well. So finding something that has bang for its buck is great. I just hope that this council isn't one another of those like closed groups that people don't feel connected to unless they really illustrate in layman's terms how this is going to help you and why it's important. It's not going to get the internal buy-in it'll need within those organizations who are due to benefit from it. Let's see, let's give them the hope.
What it does signal, I think, Paul, is that we have a government who are committed to continuing to have a conversation around net zero and to put the right policies and support in place, if at all possible. But really, it's for business to go and make that change happen, isn't it? And make the best of it. Oh, we've lost Paul.
He's on mute, but that's okay, because I want to say supply chain is an undervalued part of this conundrum. If you can find partners who are already at net zero or near to, then they can help you bring yours down as well.
Yeah.
So
Paul,
as I tried to say, because I was on mute, dummy. The minister said yesterday very clearly that yes, the government would legislate, but it's going to be for commercial partners, private industry, to really accelerate things, and I can see that. And we really need partners like MHA that can help smaller businesses, because let's be honest, a lot of businesses are starting up in this world and accelerating quickly, because obviously investment in green tech and the value and profitability and growth in the green tech industry is at unparalleled levels, and they need all the help that they can get to scale. Tax advice, all of those kinds of things, which are really, really important.
Yeah, and it's also for the bigger guys. It's about refinancing debt and making sure they've got the very best deal that they can have to free up capital to make those investments. So there's a whole host of things that MHA can help with. But yeah, getting this right it's not the job of government to go and do. It's the job of government to put the frameworks in place to enable business to go and do, to give them that certainty. And I think that's what they're starting to do. Let's move on to trucks. Shall we truck this and truck that? And it's disappointing that Sam's not here, because I want to talk about hydrogen trucks. And
you just want to get a reaction out of him.
He'll watch this later and froth. Hydrogen Vehicle Systems, HVS, who are at the ITT Hub, are inviting fleet operators to register expressions of interest in trialling its hydrogen electric heavy goods vehicle prior to purchasing. Supported trials are set to start in Q4 of 2025, so this is some way off. But we have seen the HVS at the ITT Hub, and my lord, it is the most beautiful. And I'm, as you know, I'm not a fan of these big trucks and vans and nonsense, but that is one of the most beautiful vehicles I have ever seen. There's wood interior, which it's craftsman led, this stuff, and this trial is available for you to register now. So go to www.hvs.co.uk/contact and tell them you're interested in trialing one of these hydrogen electric trucks, because it was fab. Paul, over to you. You're the expert.
Well, I'm not the expert on hydrogen trucks, that's for sure. And there's a lot of people with a lot more knowledge than me. I'm going to say something, because in the truck market, yes, things need to be nice, but this does seem a tad over-engineered. You could actually live in it. I mean, happily. I mean, it's beautiful, don't get me wrong. I really loved it. And I actually thought their smaller version, I think it was a 7.5 ton version, platform cab, was also pretty cool looking. And it is great that what we're seeing is innovation that not only pleases the environment, but pleases the eye too. Aesthetically pleasing trucks. What's not to love?
Yeah, I mean, it was a thing of beauty, and I actually heard somebody say, "Blimey, that's better than my house."
And Ron Godfrey, vans and nonsense, yes, absolutely. But these are trucks and nonsense, but they're all nonsense, right?
No, Paul, they're all lovely actually, and
Quite
whilst
right.
I often josh with you because it's good sport, vans, trucks, they've been part of my life for the last 13, 14 years, and every single vehicle has a duty, it has a job to do, and it's important that we decarbonise all of them. They all matter, and I'll tell you something, during COVID, I was very glad of vans and trucks delivering my stuff, and to this day, we still get deliveries every day to my home from vans, last mile delivery, all that stuff. They really matter. So this is just banter, people. It's not
John,
real.
you're absolutely right, and they matter this much. So there's 11% of the vehicles on the road are vans and trucks, and they equate to 32% of all of the CO2 emissions or thereabouts. And so for every one truck, we get 3 back. It's great, right? So every one we decarbonise, we're really reducing it by 3%, which is great.
And can I just call out Sam Clark, bless his heart, who is actually listening to us on LinkedIn, and he said, "What's not to love? The cost. That's not to love. Just you gotta just.
We
love
don't
it, man.
have a price yet. We don't have a price yet for the hydrogen truck, or at least I haven't seen one. But the electric trucks are also very, very expensive. This is all going to be expensive in the short term. And what we will see is that energy costs over time will come down, renewable energy will be more used, and therefore ultimately it will do. But hydrogen, who knows? It's a test and learn scenario.
Absolutely. Now, Ron Godfrey obviously loves trucks. Kylie Glover, hello from Greenfleet. Who else we got? Leon Gomez, welcome. Let's go to Caroline Kirby, Mrs. Kirby.
She provided the coffee.
Is that what happened when you made your camera go all red? Did you put your thumb over the camera?
I put my thumb over it because I couldn't switch it off without actually
That's
just
like,
taking
is
me
this
out of the
code
shot.
red for humanity or code red for Kirby? I'm not sure.
Kirby needs coffee. Now then, Mercedes-Benz trucks have partnered with Solomon Commercials to launch a fridge-bodied e-Actros electric truck. Again, we saw it at the show. The vehicle made its debut on Wednesday, and it will now be offered for live demonstration to operators across the country. This is real, it's here, it's now. It's based on a 4x2 e-Actros 300. The truck's fitted with 3 battery packs with a total capacity of 336 kilowatt hours. It's a range of 205 miles, can be recharged from 20% to 80% in 75 minutes using a 400 amp, Paul, 400 amp, 160 kilowatt charger. We interviewed James Venables. Paul, you spoke to him at length, and he was saying the Actros is a truck for a new era. And by launching this refrigerated demonstrator, we're showing that it's ready to work in real-life applications. Anyone interested in trialling this exciting vehicle should contact their Mercedes-Benz dealer as soon as possible. You had a really good chat with James, didn't you, and went off to see the truck?
Yeah, we went to see the truck, and what I'm impressed about with truck manufacturers as a whole, but the attitude of Mercedes-Benz in particular in this case, were getting these vehicles into the hands of customers for extended trials, not just a week here or there, but giving them the opportunity to test them within their businesses and make informed decisions based on experience. So they recently tested it in Milton Keynes with a business, and then within a matter of 2 days, they knew with this we can make this work. Can we test it in our Buxton in Derbyshire environment? And they went, yeah, why not? Let's get it up there, and found that actually much more was possible than they imagined. So testing and learning, demonstrating these products. Well done, Mercedes-Benz, for putting it in the hand of customers.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a real thing, doing real stuff, and it's real important. See what I did there? This week, we also spoke to Jasmine Bishop from Equipmake, a company I'd never heard of before, to my sins, but they're a manufacturer of electrification products for battery electric vehicle drivetrains. And this week, they showcase something called the Coach Repower technology at the ITT Hub, which can provide pure electric range for coaches of up to 250 miles. And essentially what they do, rip out all of the powertrain from an existing coach or double-decker bus or a single-decker bus, and they put an electric drivetrain. And the really clever thing about this was that you don't lose any passenger space, you don't lose any luggage space. They're able to put all of the new running gear and all of the new technology into place, the drivetrain, without impinging on the existing operation of this truck and to me, of this bus. And to me, with a lifespan of about 20 years, repurposing this legacy fleet is really, really key. It was brilliant, wasn't it, Sarah?
Yeah, even Jesse Norman quite liked that. He had a good old... really nearly said the wrong thing there. He had a good old look around the bus. He had a good look in the back of that bus. But it was nice to see it captivating so many people's imagination. Even Alan and Leah from our stand were like, is that really a bus that's now electric? Because it's just, once you put your mind to it, once you prove the concept, it's easier to do than people fear. And in terms of the carbon footprint and supply chain, that's a really great way of bringing it down.
And I'm right in saying that that bus was built for the king and for the coronation. Is that right, Paul?
Well, the company Westway have a contract with the Crown, let's say, and so definitely it would have been involved in the various different. I think even the funeral, the Queen's funeral. So it's. This has been something that will feature in many royal events going forward, and the beauty of it is 76% British built. They even bring in all the cells and build the batteries themselves, and this is a really good British success, and well done to them.
And a massive shout out to Jamie Fretwell, who was everywhere from Mercedes-Benz trucks, everywhere at that show, meeting, greeting, being fabulous and stealing all the good merch that was on other people's tables. Fabulous work there, Jamie. Now then, if you've got any clean transport PR or news stories you'd like us to cover, please send them to us at hello@evcafe.org. Until next Friday, it's goodbye from me, it's goodbye from them. But before we go, Paul, your one abiding memory of the ITT Hub.
Oh, good question. Oh, damn it. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
I know, that's why I
Do you know what? It's always... So, the abiding memory, I suppose, will be... We did this EV Cafe Village thing for the first time, really properly, and saw... partners, sponsors, other people all joining around. We had the AA and Geotab. It really felt... that things were moving ahead for the EV Cafe, and obviously to have Jesse Norman come along. But, it was just all of that coming together with the wonderful people that came across. So, I mean, it's not a one abiding memory, but the EV Cafe Village and it being a real hub and a buzz for many people to be met and greeted and had fun with, that was all good.
And great credit to you because you put that together. That was your idea, your vision. You brought 10 exhibitors, 8 exhibitors, whatever it was, to the stand, and a fabulous piece of work, ably supported by a team, Caroline, Leah, Alan, to bring this together, and superb. What about you, Sarah?
I didn't get to look around very much because I was doing we did 20 interviews. I was on 2 different panel sessions, and then I was helping to soft launch Graze EV. So generally I was quite busy, but did have a lot of fun with the Generate Media crew as we snuck into a load of massive trucks. It's just phenomenal being up close to things. I think that's what the ITT Hub does do very well is give you things to look, touch and feel, and people are very willing to let you get into there. Huge cabs, and there's a real sentiment around quality of driver life. So having nice cabs, nice facilities is something that I think infrastructure providers are working towards, but also vehicle manufacturers too, finally.
Sarah Sloman likes it big. Anyway, this has been an EV Cafe production brought to you this week by EV Civils Solutions. Holes, but greener and better. Other sustainability news services are available, but this is just funner. The EV Cafe news is brought to you by My Energy, Geotab, EV Civil Solutions, the AA, Plug Me In, Spiri, Hydrock, Interval, Car Share. I can't remember how to say it now. Damn, I should have practiced that.
That'll be good.
Kershaw UK, and McIntyre Hudson. We are the EV Cafe, supporting the transition to clean, zero-emission transport. Enjoy the rest of your day and your weekend wherever it takes you. Until next Friday, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Of course, they can all see us next Wednesday.